Book 2, Chapter 2, The Storm and Heels. Some people walk into your life like a breeze. Lakanbini Susan kicks in the door like a Category 5 storm wearing heels. So there I was, mid-morning and mid-chew, basking in the rare and sacred joy that follows a full Filipino breakfast. The air was still rich with the divine perfume of sinangag and sizzling longanisa. My favorite mug, chipped gloriously hideous and filled with Barako coffee, was warm in my hands. Everything was good. Then the shop door shrieked. Not jingled, not rang. Shrieked. It slammed open like an anime villain kicking off their entrance arc. My peaceful morning shattered. Lakanbini Susan Sumilang. She didn't walk into the room. She conquered it. Her storm gray coat billowed like it had wind magic sewn into the hem. Her 5-inch heels clacked across the floorboards with the unrelenting rhythm of a war drum. Each step a countdown to my public execution. Espiritu, she snapped. Not hi, not good morning, lovely weather we're having. Just my surname, like she was filing a formal complaint with the universe, and I was the nearest customer service rep. I blinked, sipped my coffee like it was armor. Lakanbini Susan. To what do I owe the typhoon? She glided up to the counter, trailing the scent of expensive floral perfume and something else, sharp and ozone-rich, like the air before lightning strikes. Then, with one elegant, theatrical slap, she dropped a glowing scroll onto the counter. The glowing scroll. Yes, the one she handed me last night. The one I had aggressively ignored this morning in favor of carbs, coffee, and denial. Now it pulsed ominously beside my half-eaten pan de sal, casting twitchy shadows across the cozy shop. The air thickened, smelling of old magic and judgment. My appetite packed its bags and left. Gone. Vanished. Goodbye, breakfast. I stared at the scroll. I swear it was smirking. Susan, I said slowly, summoning the dregs of my chill. Did I miss my prosperity toll again? Because if this is about taxes, I promise I'm still within the vague boundaries of plausible deniability. She didn't even flinch. Hardly, Pepito, she replied, like she was explaining calculus to a chicken. This isn't about taxes. This is about your lineage. Read it again, carefully. I suspect the full implications may not have properly registered last night, given your carb-induced stupor. A nervous laugh leaked out. Lineage? You mean like family trees? Look, I have a Tito in Batangas who makes lomi so good it could probably resurrect the dead, but I don't think that's what you mean. Susan gave me a look that could sandblast paint off walls. This, she said, tapping one manicured nail against the scroll's glowing leather binding, making it flare like an angry firefly, is a royal proclamation. A blood-bound, magical contract signed by one of your ancestors. A legacy of power and responsibility that has apparently, and I must say, regrettably, fallen squarely on you. I looked at the scroll, then at her face, which was now doing its best impersonation of a thundercloud. Then back at the scroll, where one of the shimmering symbols squirmed and twitched. Familiar, like a word I almost remembered from a dream. I sell power banks, I whispered. She leaned in, voice low and laced with steel. And now, Sixto Espiritu, you also inherit a role in a centuries-old magical pact involving lost realms, ancient gods, and a high likelihood that you are the dormant heir to powers that make my job as Lakanbini extremely, inconveniently difficult. I sat down. More accurately, my knees gave out, and I collapsed into a stool like a dying fish. Susan crossed her arms. The coat flared behind her, perfectly timed, like an invisible wind machine was being operated by a fashion god. We're going to the town hall, she said. Now, I've summoned the council, and the archivist, and the herbalist. I squinted. Why the herbalist? In case you faint. Thoughtful. Necessary. Her voice softened just slightly, like the hurricane had found its eye. This is real, Pepito. You need to stop hiding behind jokes and electricity bills. You need to be ready. She looked at me not as a merchant, or a joke, or even a nuisance. She looked at me like I was the key to something that terrified me more than anything she'd said so far. The scroll pulsed again, rhythmic and heavy like a second heartbeat in the room. And beneath my skin, past the fear, the sarcasm, the coffee, something stirred. Something old, familiar, a whisper that wasn't in words, a sensation that had nothing to do with gadgets or spreadsheets. This wasn't the Pepito who managed inventory and worried about QR codes. This was the part of me that belonged to Inez Espiritu. And just like that, my day went from cozy bodega vibes to destiny-chosen magical air mode faster than a microwave beat. Great. Absolutely fantastic. Author's note. Our boy Pepito just wants carbs and peace. But fate and Lakanbini Susan said no. This chapter ramps up the tension while keeping that signature comedic flavor, because destiny is always more digestible with a side of sarcasm. Enjoy the escalation, from breakfast to bloodline revelation. Mini glossary. Lakanbini, a noble title in Saramanuk, blending mayor, governor, and boss lady energy. Nara wood, a prized Philippine hardwood known for its rich color and strength. Sinangag, Filipino garlic fried rice, a breakfast staple. Pandesal, soft Filipino bread rolls, mildly sweet and soul-healing. Tito, uncle, especially the kind who makes legendary lomi. Inez Espiritu, Pepito's mysterious ancestor with a legacy wrapped in arcane power and family secrets.